The first thing I want to talk about is just the importance of visual branding and why you need to have that if you're starting a product-based business. So when you're creating a brand for a product-based business, sometimes the visual part of the branding is really, really important. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I ended up working with a branding company and the process, and how I am creating the visual branding for and the brand identity for my new dog poop bag company. So let's dive right into it. So I'm going to share with you, like, literally behind the scenes. I'm going to share the process of the company that I worked with. I'm going to give a little bit of sneak peek on like what process they use and what questions they asked me and what was the time frame and all those really cool things about working with a branding company to do the branding for a business. And this is actually my first time working with an actual company to do branding. I have either DIY'd it in the past, or I've worked with, people like 99 Designs, which isn't really a branding company, but it's definitely better than DIYing. So this process was really incredible and really rewarding. And the result they gave me is absolutely incredible. And I'm going to share at the end the actual final logos, the brand, and all the fun visuals that go with it. But the first thing I want to talk about is just the importance of visual branding and why you need to have that if you're starting a product-based business. So this video is going to be great for people who are wanting to start their first product-based business, or if you have a product-based business and you either are looking to rebrand and you're curious the process of how you would do it step by step, then this video is going to be perfect for you. So why visual branding is really important for a business. So number one, there's so much competition with other brands that already exist with Amazon. And your visual branding is really how someone feels about your brand when they first discover you, or just as they continuously interact with your brand. And the colors, the fonts, the personality, it plays a huge effect if someone wants to continue to really follow you on social media or even buy your product. So it's a really important thing, because if you've ever come across a brand that has, it almost like repulses you when you first see it. So I have a brand that really repulses me for whatever reason, and I don't know why. And it's nothing against the brand. They're really, really popular and people love them. And as someone who lives in Pacific Northwest, I can't get away from this brand, but Cotopaxi. For some reason, when I look at their website, when I go into their store, it actually physically repels me away. I want nothing to do with it. I don't like it. And for other people, they love Cotopaxi and they connect with it and they love the colors and the visuals and all that. So a good brand will either repel someone or attract someone. And that is all through colors, visuals, logos, personality, and font. And so when you are creating the visual branding for your business, those things really matter. Like fonts matter, colors matter, the combination of colors matter. And most importantly, a brand should have a personality. So you think of brands like Red Bull or BarkBox. They have very strong personalities within that brand. They're not vanilla. So when I was coming up with the branding or the vision of the brand for my new dog poop bag company called Amusejoy Poo Bags, I knew that the visual branding was going to be a really important part as a differentiator to competitors. I know that I want to sell direct to consumer, have my own website on Shopify, and I also want to sell on Amazon eventually. And if you go to Amazon and you scroll through dog poop bags, you will see everyone looks exactly the same. They're all green and boring and tacky with paw prints and dog prints on them. And I knew I wanted something different, and I knew I wanted something fun and bright. And so I knew that when it came down to it, the visual branding of this business is very important. It's the most important thing to start off with. And so I knew right away I had to invest money to work with a company and not just do it myself. Am I capable of doing it myself? Absolutely. This is now my second product-based business, my third business that I've started in the last 8 years. And I have a good eye for design in general, and my background is marketing. So I can definitely pull things together and make it look really good, but I didn't want to this time. I wanted to work with someone who could take my vision and create something perfection and magical. And that's exactly what happened. So that's why visual branding is really important if you are starting a business, is especially if it's maybe not your first business or you have some money to invest. someone else will do a fabulous job. And unfortunately, when I see a lot of businesses being launched, the branding is sloppy. You can tell that you probably went to Canva and chose a couple of random colors and plopped them together. It doesn't look great. And that sometimes that's okay. Like, you don't always need to go the expensive route. I have another video on YouTube where I share how to create a product-based business with a $500 budget. And that's not just for branding, it's for everything. So there's a time and a place to be scrappy, but I knew for my business, I had to come up with something that was magical. So that was one of the main reasons why I did work with a branding company, is because the visuals had to be absolutely magical and pure perfection. Why I didn't DIY this time, again, I wanted it to be professional. I wanted it to be perfect the first time around. I could have piece things together myself. I just didn't want to. This is now my second product-based business. I've been in the e-commerce space for 8+ years. I have done so much within e-commerce that I knew this time around that I wanted someone else to do it for me. And that's all. Like, there's really no long-winded answer for that. It's just, I wanted someone else to do it for me right the first time. How I found the branding person to work with. So I'm just kind of going through some questions I wrote down to talk about. So I knew that I wanted to work with someone to do my branding. So there's really a few options with branding. One is you do it yourself. Two, you can do something like go to Upwork or Fiverr and like find someone through that process. You can then do something like 99 Designs, which is a design contest. You pay for a package and then you basically tell them what your vision is, and then you get people that will bid for the design project. It's really, really an incredible process. And if you have a little bit of a budget and you want to get a lot of options, 99 Designs is the way to go. So I have a few friends who do branding for product-based businesses or service-based businesses. And I already had a business friend who I kind of knew, okay, at some point I'm probably going to end up working with you. And that's sort of just who I went with. So we had a discovery call and I knew, okay, we're going to work together. And so I want to kind of talk about the process. But if you're looking for a branding company, I mean, you can go on to, I would say the best thing to do, go to Pinterest and type in just branding or branding packages or branding for dog business, branding for makeup business. And you'll see a bunch of people's work and designs right there. And you can go through and you can find a design that speaks to you and then reach out to them and figure out what their packages are. But that's the easiest way to find a branding company, honestly, is use Pinterest. So my vision for the brand. So I knew upfront I wanted it to be super fun, super colorful, bold, bright, like opposite of everything that exists right now with dog poop bags. So again, when we're thinking of how to make ourselves look different, we have to come up with a differentiator. And with dog poop bags, there's only so many things that you can do different than all the other poop bags. It's a bag that picks up dog poop. Like, this is not rocket science. We're not recreating the wheel here, but we have to do something that's different. So I knew up front I did not want to create another boring green poop bag. And so the colors and the personality and the design were like the most important part. So what I did was I went to Pinterest and I created a secret board on Pinterest and I started pinning things that the vision in my head. So initially, when I came up with this idea for the poo bag business, I wanted the brand to be called OSH''T. And I knew in my head it was going to be this like big, blocky, fun font, and it was going to have a lot of personality and boldness. And so I already knew that up front when I came up with this idea. But then when I went to Pinterest and I started pinning different things, that vision changed a little bit and it started to become more colorful and more fun and more personality. And I'm going to walk you through what that process was right here. So let's take a look behind the scenes of my actual brand board for my dog poop bag company called Amusejoy Poo Bags. So this is the final result of pins that I had saved. And this was actually created for the branding company that I worked with. So I actually had probably 3 times as many pins, but while I worked with them and went through their process, they kind of gave me some instruction on reducing the amount of pins so it would make it a little bit more cohesive for them to like understand exactly what I'm looking for. So this is a final result, but I just want to walk through how I ended up creating this, because I think if you're coming up with a brand and you haven't done this before, you don't really know even what to type into Pinterest to search for. So for some context for this brand, I knew that I wanted it to be super fun, super bright, colorful, bold, like just really fun and like filled with personality. I knew that I wanted some purple and like a blood orange to be part of it. I envisioned smiley faces and things like that. So what I ended up typing into Pinterest would be things like, you know, fun, colorful brand, and just see what pops up. And you can kind of scroll through and you'll start to see things that feel like what you're envisioning for your business, right? So that's kind of what I did, honestly. It sounds pretty easy, but it is pretty easy. If you understand the vibe that you are going for that brand. So I knew right away that like I wanted it to be fun, colorful, bold. Like I wanted bold fonts, big blocky fonts, fun colors. So for example, this right here would have been something that I probably would have pinned if I had found it first. So this Frugal Fox one, like it's super fun. It has bold font and it's colorful. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I would just go through and I would just save different things that aligned with what I was looking for. So I'm going to go back to my board. And this was a final product. So I'll just kind of, instead of like showing you what I searched for, I'm just going to show you the final result, because what you're looking for is going to be different than what I'm looking for. But you want to type in things like the type of fonts you're looking for, colors that you're looking for, words of personality. So for this, I would use personality words like fun, retro, bold, colorful, like feminine, colorful, flower, that kind of thing. So if you're creating a business that's going to be a different type of personality, you want to just plug in those words into Pinterest. And once you start finding things that you like and you save them as pins, Pinterest picks up on what you're looking for and they'll give you more of that. So for this, I wanted purple. Purple was a color that was really important to me. And I knew up front that I likely wanted a purple and like a lime neon greenish yellow color. So I knew that. I knew that I wanted some kind of flower, and I knew that I wanted a bold, like block font. And so that's literally what I would type into Pinterest, is I would just type in those types of words, and I started to find things that I liked. So for example, this flower, absolutely obsessed, this purple color. This Dirty Hippie is actually a sweatshirt that I own, and I love the color combination together. So I actually found that. This like electric blue font. Because it's a pet business, I wanted some dog illustrations. So I found a couple dog illustrations here. This one right here from Doc's Design, the Bark Day Planner, like this like bright purpley with like green and yellow, absolutely obsessed. So I knew really clearly what the vision of my brand would be. And so that's what I saved here for the company. So if you're starting out, again, words you want to type into Pinterest would be words of personality. So fun, colorful, vibey, retro, whatever you're looking for. You want to type in colors. You want to type in like what kind of fonts do you envision that you might want? What kind of illustrations would you might want? So like I kind of wanted a smiley face. I ended up not using smiley faces, but I did want one. But I wanted flowers. So I looked up kind of like hand-drawn retro flowers. And so you want to just type that in here. And then when you find things that you like, I'll show you what to do quickly. You would come here and you would click save. And I actually already saved this because I love this so much. This Abby's fry sauce, I think it's so fun. So I actually saved this already to this packaging one, but you would save it to a board and that's it. So that's how I created my Pinterest board without going into way too much detail. But you want to just kind of find a couple things that you like. And then once you find a couple, it's easier to find other things. So in that clip, you saw actually my process of creating a Pinterest board and how I sort of started pinning things that I felt would give that look and feel that I was kind of looking for. So next up is I started working with the branding company, and I've, had a discovery call with them. They gave me a timeline. We agreed on it. I paid the first invoice, and then the process started. So with them, it was pretty easy. It was pretty simple. They had me fill out a questionnaire, and they had me create a Pinterest board. And I already did the Pinterest board, so I had to refine it based on their criteria. And any good branding company will give you really specific things that they want from you. So I'm not a branding person. I'm a marketing person. I can help you start a product-based business and I can help you grow it. But by trade or experience, I am not a visual branding person. And so they were able to help me take my idea and like make it more concise and streamlined. And I'm going to share a video in a sec of the process of that with you. But basically, the process was really easy working with them. They gave me a questionnaire. I did a Pinterest mood board, and we kind of went from there. So in this clip, I'm just going to walk you through some of the questions that they asked me and why I answered them the specific way they do. So I'm going to share 2 questions from their questionnaire, and I'm going to walk you through why I answered them in the way I did, because it's really important when you are creating your own brand. So what I want to share here is an example of one of the branding questions that the company asked me. And this is one of really the most important things, I think, when you're creating a brand, that you understand it has to have a personality. So think of a company like Red Bull. It's bold, it's fun, it's like energetic. There's a personality there. Think of a company like BarkBox. So fun, just so much funness built into the brand. There's personality words that you would describe them. And so when I was thinking of words that I wanted to use to describe the poop bag brand, these were the words that I really, really want everything to evoke. So I wanted to feel playful. I wanted to feel fun. I wanted to be bold. I wanted to feel modern, and I want happiness to be evoked. So I think these 5 words are the perfect words to describe the brand, because when I show you the branding at the end, it'll all make sense. You'll understand what vision I was trying to kind of come across when I worked with the branding company. But playful, fun, happiness, just like you look at it and it makes you want to smile. And the reason that some of these words were really important to me, because I believe that's how I feel about dog walking. So when I think of poop bags, I think, oftentimes you are picking up your dog's poop when you're walking your dog or running with your dog or playing with your dog. Those are the activities that you're doing most likely during the times when you would actually pick up dog poop and you would need the product that I'm creating. And I want everything to feel fun and playful, but also, dogs are so special. And I just think dogs are the most special things in the entire world. And they do so much for us to make us happy. And I wanted to kind of get that emotion across with the Poop Bag brand. So these are the 5 words that I chose to describe. And when you're coming up with your branding process, whether you do it yourself or work with a company, these are the things that you need to know. So I'm going to share another example after this one, but I think this was one of the most important things to think about when you are thinking of a branding strategy. So the next question I want to share here is, what sets you apart from your competition? What is it about your business that makes your customers choose you over your competitors? Think of any unique differentiators you offer, from your personality to your services and offerings. So this is one of the questions that I had to answer with the branding company that I worked with. And the reason I'm sharing my response with you is because this question, I believe, beyond having a good product and beyond having a product that solves a pain point for someone, like you're creating a product that people actually need and search for solutions for. This is the most important part right here. What sets you apart from your competition? If you don't know the answer to this, then don't start your business. You need to know what this answer is, and you need to be really clear. So when I was coming up with this brand vision in my head, I knew that I wanted something different than all the other dog poop bag companies out there. So if you actually go to Amazon and look at every single dog poop bag, for the most part, 99% of them look exactly the same. They're green, they're kind of tacky, they're kind of outdated, they have like paw prints on them or dog bones. They feel stale, they feel overdone. They feel boring, 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 boring. And my vision with this from day one was something fun, colorful, bold. I've already shared with you my words for the brand. So if you know, like, I'm going to create a fun, colorful, non-green, non-tacky brand, you probably know that my brand is going to be something that's really fun and colorful and not this like poopy green. There is a green color in my branding, but it's like a lime green. So this was really important to me. So I wrote every single dog poop bag, or 99.9%, are green, boring, and tacky. Green poop bags with a paw print or dog bone on it. It's so boring. It makes me want to punch myself. Haha. I want something that stands out against the sea of boring green tackiness. When you go to Amazon and search for dog poop bags and you scroll, I want my brand to pop off the page. So 1, branding, colorful vibe. I want to be the number 1 cutest, most fun dog poop bag brand. Number 2, purpose driven. We donate a percentage of sales to charity or rescue or animal rescues or something that helps animals. I'm still coming up with what that's going to look like, but that is going to be part of the brand. And then 3, compostable. So actually, this part, I'm actually not doing a compostable bag. So initially I was going to, but after I actually talked to people and learned a little bit more about what people actually care about, and most importantly, not what they care about, but what drives their purchasing decisions. People can say all day, oh yes, compostable, that's my favorite. But then at the end of the day, what poop bags are they actually currently buying? Most people aren't buying compostable bags. They're buying, like maybe biodegradable or something like that. So after doing market research and talking to people, I discovered that that's possibly less of an importance to people. But I do think that in general, people care about some form of earth-friendly bag. So I'm actually launching a biodegradable bag. It's not going to be compostable. However, in the future, I'm probably planning to launch a compostable bag once my business is up and running, I'm making money, I have a proven product, etc. So this has actually changed, but I wrote compostable. There are a lot of poop bags that are some form of biodegradable, but compostable is the best. And yeah, I do think compostable is the best because it breaks down. But at the end of the day, it's not what I think, it's what people want and what people are paying for. So that's a really important thing that you have to always remember. It's not about you. It's not about what you want. It's what people are willing to pay for. And there's a difference when you ask people, hey, what's your favorite poop bag? You might get 90% of people that will say, whatever the most earth-friendly poop bag is. But then if you actually ask them, hey, show me your receipts of what poop bags you're buying. Like, what are you actually buying, not what you like? And they'll show you, and it's probably something like Earth Rated, where Earth Rated is a poop bag that they do have a compostable one because I've purchased before. But if you go to their website, they're all more of it's a plastic, but post-consumer plastic materials. So it's not compostable, yet that's the number 1 most popular dog poop bag brand. So that just shows you right there, compostable isn't necessarily what people care about. So you have to understand what people care about. So yes, the poop bag will be biodegradable. It'll be some form of earth friendly. That is important to me. But for now, the first 2 are my differentiators. So the branding, the vibe, like the funness, and then purpose driven. So I will be donating a percentage of sales to help animals in need. And not many people actually do that. So that's also a differentiator. And that's just in general to me as I create product business brands. I believe that they have to stand for something more than just the actual product. And so that's a really important thing for me. So this is when you're coming up with a brand identity and trying to understand what product to create or launch, always think, how am I going to be different than everyone else? It doesn't mean that you have to reinvent the wheel, okay? But like, you have to have something that makes you different. And then some other questions that they asked me that I'm going to share with you just to give you something to think about. So if you are wanting to create your own brand, some of these questions that they asked me in their questionnaire are absolutely perfection for coming up with that really strong brand identity. So what was your inspiration for starting the business? Like, what made you want to start it? What would you say your competitors are? That's a really important one. You have to know your competitors. What sets you apart from your competitors? I already shared my answer with you there. Give us insight into your business name. So what's the meaning behind it? Were there other names you considered? And then lastly, what's your objective with this project? So at the end of the project, what would you like to walk away with physically or mentally? And I thought those were really awesome questions to get me to think about all the things that go into a brand. It's not just like, I want the brand to be purple or I want it to be fun. It's like, how do you want people to feel when they experience it? How, like, what is the name? What's the meaning behind it? What are like all the specific things that go into it? And what they came up with was pure perfection. I'm going to share with you at the end, the final results and all that. But that's how much detail goes into creating a brand. It's not just a logo. It's not just a name. It's not just a color. It's literally when you walk away and you plug things into a website, or you have things on social media, or you actually send people a package in the mail. How do you want them to feel? And how do you want them to experience your brand and your product when they open the package, when they land in your website? It's literally comes down to, how do you want to make someone feel? What kind of connection do you want to create with that person? And so when they land in your website and they see beautiful purples and fun designs and fun patterns, they literally say, oh my gosh, this product was created just for me. And they keep scrolling and they buy. Versus like the example I shared earlier with Cotopaxi. For whatever reason, I am not into that brand. It repels me. I want nothing to do with it. And that's good branding. So I'm not insulting Cotopaxi. It's nothing to do with them. It's me. As a consumer, when I see their stuff, I want to click out of the page. And when it comes to your branding and your website and all that stuff, that's what you want to do. You want to either attract someone so they know this is for me, or you want to repel them. An example of a brand that I'm absolutely obsessed with, the second I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, they are for me. Maddle paddle boards, like the branding, the visuals, everything about it, pure perfection. And that's an example of a brand that I was extremely attracted to. And I've now purchased 2 $300 paddle boards from them. And I talk about them on my podcast all the time. So they constantly get airtime from me. So that's another example. Okay, so now that you've walked through the branding process, you've walked through some of the questions that the branding company has asked me, you've walked through my vision for the brand and how I came up with all the things that I wanted, and you walked through how I created the Pinterest board. I want to now share with you the final results of the branding for Amusejoy Poo Bags, and I could not be happier. They did such an incredible job. Courtney is the branding side of Duo Collective, and I love her so much. So again, I was friends with them beforehand, and they were so professional. They every step of the way, they nailed it. And so if you're looking for a branding company to work with, I could not recommend them more. They're absolutely incredible, but they truly took my vision and perfected it. They nailed it. And so I'm so excited to share with you the final results right here. You can take a quick peek now. So the first step of the branding process, after I filled out the questionnaire, after I gave them my Pinterest board, what they did was they came up with 4 mock-up versions of mood boards. And this is based on, again, the questionnaires, my vision, all the things. And so this was the first, glimpse of working with this company and kind of what they would come up with. So again, this is other people's stuff. This is not what they created. This is just a board of, it's called like a mood board or a vision board. So basically, this is other people's stuff that they probably pulled from Pinterest and things. So I'm not using this as, their work. It's just what they're giving as an example. So I basically went through the 4 options, all of which were literally pure perfection. And then I used a mock-up tool and I gave them feedback on which ones I liked. And because I have a really strong sense of what I was looking for, they allowed me to kind of mix and match options here. Because to be honest with you, there wasn't one that was the perfect combination. It was kind of like the 4 options were all perfect, but I picked different things from each one of them depending on different things. So what I ended up going with was option 2, like the vibe. I loved the colors. I loved the pattern here. So you see this pattern of like squigglies. It's almost like you could think of it as like a leash or like a dog walk itself. So I loved this one so much, but I loved the colors from option 1. So I took option 1's colors, I moved them to option 2, and I took option 4's font and chose that as the main font and kind of used that. And that kind of ended up being the combination of things for the brand. So the colors were like pure perfection. I mean, the purple, the red. I actually got rid of, actually, no, I think I do have a pink. I can't even remember, to be honest. I know I have a lime green and like a yellowy lime green. And then I have the bloody orange, red, and the perfect purple. And I think there is a pink as well. So pretty much this color with this vibe and this font. So pure perfection. But if you look at kind of all the different options, they kind of gave me some idea of what things will look like. And they nailed it 100%. But when I looked at this option 1, the colors were exactly what I was looking for. So remember, my words were like fun, playful, colorful, bold. And I just felt like this depicted, I forget how to say that word, depicted exactly what I was looking for. But to be honest with you, I really liked these squiggly lines. I thought, this could be perfect for packaging. So picture like a poly mailer bag with this design on it and then a fun logo. And I really liked these submark logos with the words around a fun little pattern here. And I knew that I wanted a flower. And so I just felt like this was really the vibe that I was looking for. I felt that this font here was super fun, but it was actually pretty similar to a competitor who also has a fun poop bag brand. And so I knew that I didn't want that. And what else? And this color here, they were good, but I wanted more bold. And so I didn't like this pale purple. And I thought this green here was too faded. And so, yeah. And then this one here, I thought it felt a little too retro for me. And I don't know, something about it just didn't work. So I kind of nixed that one immediately. And then this one here, I was obsessed with. So it was a really hard toss up between this and the colors from number 1. But in the end, like I didn't want an orange. I wanted like a reddish orange, but not an actual orange. And I felt that I wanted the green mixed in. So I didn't want like the boring green. I wanted a fun green. And so you can see here, this green is the perfect combination. It's like super fun. It's bright, it's colorful, but it's not that like boring poop bag green. So, and then the smiley face, there were some issues, possible potential issues with trademarking. And so I just said, let's just not include a smiley face at all. So anyway, so I mix and match like this font with this color, with this vibe as my final product. And I will share with you next what the final product is. But I also want to share a couple other, I want to share a couple other illustration visuals with you. So I'm just going to pull up this really quickly. So within the branding, I knew that I wanted some illustrations of dogs. And so I got this mock-up back from them. And I got to choose which one I liked the best. And so this is option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. And immediately option 3 was like pure perfection. I really liked this one or this one, but something about this one felt like it was just missing things, like not enough squiggly lines. This one had too much squiggly lines. But this one was perfect. And this is actually based off of an image of my dog. And I wanted him to be part of the brand, just like my first business, my other dog was part of the brand. So I thought that was really important to me. And then I wanted my other dog, Asha, to be part of it as well. So I'm going to share with you the mock-ups for her. Actually, no, sorry. This is the final mock-up board of what I chose. So in the end, I ended up choosing this one of her down here. I think I chose one more. I can't remember. I may have chose this one up here, but I definitely chose, No, sorry. I chose this orange pattern, but I got it in different colors. And then I chose these three of Kennedy because Kennedy is the main dog of this brand. Sorry, Asha. Um, but Asha was the face of Dapper Dog Box, so she got her turn. And so these ones are important because this illustration here is part of the logo. And then these two are part of submarks. And I thought they're just so fun because these are based off of actual images. So this is what I chose for that. And I will share with you the final branding in a second. Stay tuned. Is the final branding and I could not be more excited. So I'm just going to show you the brand board and all the little assets that go with it. But in the end, after a couple of rounds of revisions and changes, this was the final logo that I choose to be my logo. And I could not be more absolutely obsessed with it. So it's just so fun. It's colorful. It's bright. We have the dog like inside the logo almost. Like you can see here, the dog leg covers part of the B. We just have like really fun lines and squiggles. And then we have the actual dog and, it has a little collar. It's perfection. So there was a few options where the logo was like flat, like almost horizontal. And then we have this rounded version. And I thought that this really showcased the best, most fun version. And so this was a no-brainer. And then we have just a little additional assets here. So this would be like a sub logo or just an illustration I can use for different things. The squiggles are going to be probably part of the packaging, but they could just be an asset to anything for, Instagram, social media, email campaigns, etc. These are the colors, and these are just some fun little parts of the branding that I can use for different things. And I have to say, out of all of these, I'm absolutely obsessed with this one down here, which says Amusejoy Poo Bags. And we have the little flowers and we have the purple dog. I'm just obsessed. I love the flowers. We're going to use these for an additional product, which I'll share with you later. And this is some of the fonts. So we have like fun blocky, and then we have an additional font down here, which is going to be for non-headers and things like that. So I could not be more happier with this branding. If I tried to do this myself, it would have been a disaster. And so I just think they nailed it. And I'll just give you a closer look at this beautiful little logo here. It is just pure perfection. And I'm so proud to get this brand out into the world. And if you're thinking about working with a branding company, I highly recommend it. Okay. You get what you pay for, people. All right, now that I just showed you all the different little steps along the way of the branding and the final result, you can really get the glimpse of all the things that went into creating this. It was about a 2-month time period from beginning to end. And my final thoughts are, when it comes to DIY or hiring a branding company to work with, it completely comes down to you. What is your budget? What's your experience? And how important does the visual branding play with your business? If it's not going to make or break things up front and you're wanting to launch, let's say you want to launch a scrunchie business, the visual branding might not be that big of a deal. And it might just be something that you want to get your name out there. You want to validate your idea to see if people buy it. And then once you're making money, you want to do the visual branding later. That's totally fine. But for me, again, you have to remember, this is not my first business. This is my second product-based business. My first business I started in 2016. I grew that to almost $500,000 in sales in 2.5 years with no ads, no funding, no paying sleazy influencers. And I sold it in 2019. And so since then, I've been educating people. I've been doing consulting. I have been a fractional CMO for a different pet business. And so I've been in this space for 8+ years, plus I have a background in marketing. So as someone who has already created a business, I didn't want to DIY at this time. I knew I would have to pay a couple $1,000s of an investment to do the branding for this business, but it was important for me because I knew the visual brand component was one of the ways that was going to differentiate myself. So you have to understand like the importance of that stuff up front. For me, 100% important, the most important thing. Everything else after this, I could either DIY or be scrappy, but the visual branding piece I had to nail before I could do anything else. For you, you might not need that. And I want that to be really important as you think about your business, because people, it's okay to be scrappy. You just have to know when is the right time and when is the right time to invest. And for me, again, this time around, I couldn't be happier. And I hope you enjoyed just the behind the scenes look at the entire branding process and how I came up with it and why it's so important. And I am really excited just to continue to take you on the journey of growing this business and starting this business and getting it out into the world. And yeah, I'm excited. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find the details of Duo Collective below if you're wanting to work with them. They're incredible. I highly recommend. And you can follow Amusejoy on Instagram. I have an Instagram and a TikTok account for the business. And I'm next up working on packaging and the package design, getting samples from the supplier with the poop bag design. So it's coming along. It's taking a while, but I'm taking my time and it's so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give a thumbs up and be sure to follow the channel, and you can check out some other videos from the series for this video and all the other videos we have. All right, my friends, I'll see you next week.